The red warning light blinked on the bridge of the exploration ship Endurance. Commander Marcus Chen looked up from his coffee and frowned. His ship was 3 days into mapping a new star system when the emergency signal came through. "Sir, we have an incoming transmission," said Lieutenant Torres from the communication station. "It's from Haven's Rest Colony." Marcus felt his stomach drop. His daughter Sarah worked there as a scientist studying alien plants. Haven's Rest was supposed to be safe, far from any known hostile territories. "Put it through," Marcus ordered. The main screen flickered to life. The image was broken and full of static. Marcus could see part of a man's face, terror in his eyes. "This is Haven's Rest Colony. Under attack. Alien vessel demanding. They want our farming technology. Refusing to—" The transmission cut to screaming and the sound of energy weapons firing. Then nothing but static. Marcus stared at the dead screen. His hands slowly formed fists. "Torres, try to re-establish contact," he said, his voice steady despite the fear growing in his chest. "No response, sir. The transmission ended 47 minutes ago." Marcus stood up from his captain's chair. The bridge crew looked at him, waiting for orders. They all knew about Sarah. She had visited the ship many times, bringing alien flowers to show the crew. Navigation. "Plot a course for Haven's Rest, maximum speed." "Sir," said his first officer. "Commander Walsh, we have orders to complete the survey of this system. Haven's Rest is 12 days away at maximum speed." Marcus turned to look at Walsh. The younger man had served with him for 3 years. He was a good officer, but he did not have children. "My daughter is on that colony, Commander. We leave now." Walsh nodded. "Yes, sir. All hands prepare for emergency jump to hyperspace." The next 12 days felt like 12 years to Marcus. He barely slept, barely ate. He spent his time studying everything the ship's computer had about the sector around Haven's Rest. Who could have attacked them? What did they want? The colony was small, only about 300 people. They grew food for the nearby mining stations and studied the local plant life. It was peaceful work, the kind Sarah loved. She had always been fascinated by how life found ways to grow in impossible places. Marcus remembered the day she told him she was taking the job on Haven's Rest. She was 25, fresh from the university with degrees in biology and chemistry. Her eyes had been bright with excitement. "Dad, you should see the pictures they sent. The plants there grow in colors we don't even have names for. Some of them can survive in pure acid rain. Imagine what we could learn." He had wanted to tell her to stay on Earth where it was safe, but Sarah was like her mother, stubborn and brilliant and impossible to stop once she made up her mind. So he had smiled and hugged her and told her to be careful. When the Endurance finally dropped out of hyperspace near Haven's Rest, Marcus was on the bridge before the alarms finished sounding. "Report," he ordered. "The colony is still there, sir," said Torres, "but I'm detecting debris in orbit. Looks like pieces of a communications satellite." Through the main viewer, Marcus could see the planet below. Haven's Rest Colony looked like a small cluster of white buildings near a green river. From space, it looked peaceful. "Take us down," Marcus ordered, "and prepare a landing party." As the Endurance entered the atmosphere, more details became clear. Several of the colony buildings had scorch marks on their walls. The main communication tower was completely destroyed, just twisted metal reaching toward the sky. The landing party found the colonists gathered in the main hall. Many were injured. Dr. Elizabeth Hart, the colony leader, met them at the entrance. Her arm was in a sling and she had a bandage over one eye. "Commander Chen," she said, "thank God you came. We tried to send another message, but they destroyed our long-range transmitter." "Where is Sarah?" Marcus asked. Dr. Hart's face fell. "She's in the medical center. She tried to protect the lab when they came. They shot her with some kind of energy weapon." Marcus felt the world become very quiet around him. He could hear his heart beating in his ears. "Take me to her." Sarah was unconscious on a medical bed, her skin pale and covered in strange burn marks that seemed to pulse with a faint blue light. The colony's doctor, an older man named Peterson, was monitoring her vital signs. "The weapon they used," Dr. Peterson explained. "It's not like anything we've seen before. The energy is still in her system, breaking down her cells slowly. I've been able to slow it down, but I can't stop it." Marcus knelt beside his daughter's bed. Sarah looked so small, so fragile. He remembered teaching her to ride a bike when she was 6. She had fallen and scraped her knee, and he had kissed it better. This time a kiss would not be enough. "Who did this?" Marcus asked. Dr. Hart sat down heavily in a chair. "They called themselves the Kethvar. Their ship was huge, black with red markings. They said they had heard about our quantum farming technology. They wanted us to give them everything, our research, our equipment, our methods. What happened when you refused? They said we were weak. That humans always give in when threatened. When we still said no, they started shooting. They took 23 of our people when they left. Said they would be back in 1 month for the rest of us. Marcus stood up slowly. He looked around the medical center at the other injured colonists. A young man with burns on his hands. An elderly woman with a bandage around her head. Children hiding behind their parents, fear in their eyes. These people had come here to build something, to learn and grow and make life better. They had not asked for war. Dr. Hart, Marcus said, I need you to give me everything you have about these HFY. Ship specifications, energy signatures, anything. Commander, with respect, what can one exploration ship do against alien raiders? Marcus looked back at Sarah. The blue marks on her skin seemed to be spreading slowly. I'm going to find them, he said quietly, and I'm going to make sure they never hurt anyone again. Dr. Hart stared at him. Something in his voice made her shiver. Commander, they have weapons we've never seen before. Their ship is built for war. The Endurance is designed for exploration. Marcus touched Sarah's hand gently. It was cold, Doctor, he said. They made a mistake. They hurt my daughter. Now they're going to learn why that was the worst decision they ever made. He turned to leave, then stopped at the door. How long does Sarah have? Dr. Peterson checked his readings again. With the treatments I can provide here, maybe 2 weeks. Possibly 3 if we're lucky. Marcus nodded. 2 weeks. That would have to be enough time. Outside, Commander Walsh was waiting with the rest of the landing party. Sir, what are your orders? Marcus looked up at the sky, where somewhere among the stars the HFY thought they were safe. We hunt, he said. Back on the Endurance, Marcus stood in his quarters staring at the data Dr. Hart had given him. Energy weapon signatures, hull metal samples, even recordings of the HFY language. His daughter lay dying on the planet below, and these aliens thought they could just fly away. He was wrong about that. Marcus had spent 20 years in space, first as a fighter pilot, then commanding exploration missions. He had fought in the Centauri border wars and survived the siege of New Geneva. But this was different. This was personal. Computer, analyze all data related to HFY technology and weapons, he said. The ship's artificial intelligence responded in its calm voice. Analysis complete. HFY energy weapons use a quantum disruption field. Their ship hulls are reinforced titanium steel alloy. Estimated vessel length 800 meters. Estimated crew 200. Marcus nodded. 800 meters was big but not impossible. 200 crew was a lot, but aliens often had weaknesses humans could exploit. Computer, show me the energy trail left by their ship when they departed Haven's Rest. A holographic display appeared in front of him. Glowing particles showed the path the HFY ship had taken as it left the planet's atmosphere. The trail led toward the outer system, then disappeared at the edge of sensor range. Probability of tracking them? Marcus asked. Based on quantum residue decay, 47% chance of following their trail for the next 6 days. 6 days. That meant he had to move fast. Marcus activated the ship's intercom. All senior officers to the conference room immediately. 10 minutes later, his command staff sat around the table looking confused. Commander Walsh, Chief Engineer Rodriguez, Weapons Officer Kim, and Dr. Sarah Chen. No relation to his daughter. Just a cruel coincidence with the name. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus began, we are going to hunt down the aliens who attacked Haven's Rest. Silence filled the room. Finally, Walsh spoke up. Sir, the Endurance is not a warship. We have mining lasers and basic defensive shields. These HFY have military-grade weapons. Then we adapt, Marcus said simply. Rodriguez, can our mining lasers be modified for combat use? The chief engineer was a small woman with grease-stained hands and sharp eyes. She thought for a moment. The lasers are designed to cut through asteroid rock. With some modifications to the power coupling and targeting systems, they could be quite destructive against ship hulls. How long? 8 hours for basic modifications, 12 for optimal combat configuration. Marcus turned to his weapons officer. Kim, what about our defensive capabilities? Lieutenant Kim was young but had graduated top of his class from the academy. Our shields are designed to protect against micrometeorites and radiation. Against energy weapons, they would last maybe 10 minutes. Can we improve them? We have spare power generators in the cargo bay. If we route them through the shield emitters, we could triple our defensive strength. Do it. What about armor? "Sir," said Dr. Chen, "we have mining equipment that could be welded to the hull. It would not be pretty, but it would provide additional protection." Marcus looked around the table. "I know what I'm asking. This is not our mission. Any of you who want to transfer back to Haven's Rest, I understand." Walsh leaned forward. "Commander, what are the odds we survive an encounter with a HFY warship?" Marcus thought about Sarah lying in the medical center, the blue poison spreading through her body. "Honestly, Lo, but I'm not asking you to die for my daughter. I'm asking you to help me make sure no other families go through what we're experiencing." Rodriguez cracked her knuckles. "I always wanted to see what would happen if we pushed these engines past their design limits." Kim smiled. "My weapons systems have been getting boring lately." Dr. Chen nodded. "The medical bay has been too quiet anyway." Walsh sighed. "Well, I suppose following a crazy plan is better than letting aliens think humans are weak." "Thank you," Marcus said quietly. "All of you. Now let's get to work." The next 18 hours transformed the Endurance from an exploration vessel into something else entirely. Rodriguez and her engineering team worked without sleep, rerouting power systems and upgrading the mining lasers. The ship now had 6 high-powered cutting beams that could slice through almost anything. Kim converted the cargo bay into a weapons control center, linking the shield generators and creating targeting systems that could track multiple enemies at once. The shields now had enough power to protect them against several direct hits. Dr. Chen worked with the medical team to create emergency trauma stations throughout the ship. She also synthesized combat stims and pain suppressors in case they were needed during battle. The entire crew volunteered to help weld armor plating to the ship's hull. They used mining equipment, spare parts, even furniture that could be melted down and reformed. The Endurance began to look like a porcupine made of metal. Marcus spent his time studying everything the ship's database had about HFY culture and technology. He learned that they were a warrior race that respected strength and despised weakness. They raided smaller civilizations for technology and slaves, but avoided fights they might lose. They also discovered something interesting about HFY ships. The aliens built them for intimidation as much as function. Their hulls were thick and strong, but they had weak points around the engine systems. If someone could get close enough, a few precise shots could disable them. "Computer," Marcus said, "based on the energy trail analysis, what is the most likely location for the HFY vessel?" "Probability suggests they are headed toward the Kepler 442 system. There is an asteroid mining station there that would provide fuel and supplies." Marcus studied the star charts. Kepler 442 was 4 days away at maximum speed. If they left now, they could arrive before the trail went completely cold. "Walsh," he called over the intercom, "prepare the ship for departure. We leave in 1 hour." As the Endurance prepared to leave orbit, Marcus went to the observation deck and looked down at Haven's Rest one last time. Somewhere in that small colony, his daughter was fighting for her life. He thought about the last conversation they had had 3 months ago. Sarah had been excited about a new plant species she was studying. She had talked for an hour about its adaptation mechanisms and how it could help develop better medicines. "Dad," she had said at the end of the call, "I think I'm really making a difference here. These discoveries could help millions of people." Now she was dying because aliens wanted to steal her work. Marcus placed his hand against the observation window. "I'm coming for them." "Sarah," he whispered, "I promise." The Endurance turned away from Haven's Rest and jumped into hyperspace. Behind them, the planet grew smaller until it was just another point of light. Ahead of them, somewhere in the darkness between stars, the HFY were about to learn that humans could be very dangerous when protecting their children. Marcus returned to the bridge and settled into his captain's chair. His ship was no longer built for exploration. It was built for war, and Marcus Chen was no longer just a ship's commander. He was a father on the hunt. The Endurance dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. Marcus stood on the bridge, his hands gripping the back of his command chair. 4 days of hunting had led them here. "Sensors, what do you see?" he asked. Lieutenant Torres bent over her console. "I'm detecting a large vessel near the gas giant. Configuration matches HFY design. They're docked with what looks like a refueling station." Marcus felt something cold settle in his stomach. There they were, the aliens who had hurt his daughter. Put it on the main screen. The image that appeared made several crew members whistle in surprise. The HFY ship was massive, easily 3 times the size of the Endurance. Its hull was black as space with red markings that looked like scars across its surface. It had the shape of a predator, long and sharp, built for killing. Next to it, the human refueling station looked tiny and fragile. "Sir," said Walsh quietly, "are you sure about this?" Marcus studied the enemy ship. He thought about Sarah lying in the medical center, her skin marked with blue poison. He thought about the 23 colonists who had been taken as slaves. "Yes," he said, "I'm sure." "Commander," said Torres, "they're hailing us. Put it through." The main screen changed to show the interior of the alien ship. The Kethavar who appeared was tall and reptilian, with scales that shifted from green to black. Its eyes were yellow and filled with amusement. When it spoke, its voice was deep and rough. "Small human ship," it said in accented English. "You are far from your safe colonies. I am Captain Vextar of the Blood Tide. You will surrender immediately." Marcus stepped forward so the alien could see him clearly. "Captain Vextar," he said, his voice calm and steady. "I am Commander Marcus Chen of the exploration vessel Endurance. I'm here about Haven's Rest colony." The alien's expression changed to one of surprise, then amusement. "Ah, the little farming world. Yes, we visited there recently. Took some of your people to teach them proper respect. You humans are so weak, always crying when faced with superior strength." Marcus felt anger burning in his chest, but his voice remained level. "You also injured my daughter. Her name is Sarah Chen. She's a scientist." Vextar laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Your daughter? The small female who tried to protect the laboratory?" "Yes, I remember her. She screamed very nicely when my weapons found their mark. Is she dead yet?" The bridge of the Endurance went completely silent. Marcus could hear his own heartbeat in his ears. "Not yet," Marcus said quietly. "But you will be." The alien laughed again. "Foolish human. Your little ship is no match for the Blood Tide. We have weapons that can destroy you from here. Surrender now, and I will make your death quick." Marcus smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. "Captain Vextar, I want you to listen very carefully. You made a mistake when you attacked Haven's Rest. You made a bigger mistake when you hurt my daughter. But your biggest mistake was thinking that humans are weak." He turned to his crew. "Torres, broadcast this conversation on all Kethavar frequencies. I want their entire fleet to hear what comes next." "Sir, transmission is going out on all channels." Marcus looked back at the alien captain. Vextar was no longer laughing. "What are you doing, human?" "I'm teaching you a lesson," Marcus said. "Rodriguez, take us in. Use the gas giant's magnetic field to mask our approach." "But Commander," Vextar said, confusion replacing amusement, "your ship is smaller than ours. You have no chance of victory." "You're right," Marcus agreed. "In a fair fight, you would win easily." "Lucky for me, I don't believe in fair fights." The Endurance began moving toward the gas giant. The massive planet's swirling storms created electromagnetic interference that would hide them from sensors. "All stations, prepare for combat," Marcus announced over the ship's intercom. "Remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for Sarah. We're fighting for every human who ever looked up at the stars and dreamed of something better." On the main screen, they could see the Blood Tide beginning to move away from the refueling station. The alien ship was powerful but slow, built for intimidation rather than maneuverability. "Kim, status report on weapons." "All mining lasers are charged and ready, sir. I've programmed them to target their shield generators first." "Rodriguez, what about our engines?" "Running at 110% capacity. Any higher and we risk damaging them permanently." "Dr. Chen, medical bay status?" "All trauma stations are prepared." "We're ready for casualties." Marcus nodded. His crew was ready. His ship was ready. Now it was time to show these aliens what happened when they hurt a human's family. "Walsh, open a channel to the Blood Tide." The alien captain appeared again on the screen. Vextar looked angry now, his yellow eyes glowing with rage. "Human, you will stop this madness immediately. Our weapons will tear your ship apart." Marcus studied the alien's face. There was something new there, something Vextar probably didn't even realize he was showing. "Fear." "Captain," Marcus said, "let me tell you something about humans. We're not the strongest species in the galaxy. We're not the smartest or the fastest or the most advanced, but we have one quality that makes us very dangerous." "What is that?" Marcus thought about Sarah as a little girl, running through the gardens on Earth with her arms spread wide, pretending to be a spaceship exploring the universe. "We never give up," he said, "especially when it comes to protecting our children." The Endurance emerged from behind the gas giant like a shark rising from deep water. The ship's hull was ugly now, covered in welded armor and bristling with modified weapons. It looked like something built for war, which Marcus supposed it now was. "Fire," he ordered. 6 mining lasers struck the blood tide simultaneously. The alien ship's shields flared and held, but Marcus could see stress fractures appearing in the energy barriers. "Again," Marcus said. The second volley punched through the shields and struck the alien hull. Atmosphere vented from several breaches, and the blood tide's return fire went wide as the ship shuddered from the impacts. "Impossible," Vextar snarled from the screen. "Your weapons should not be able to penetrate our defenses." "We adapted them," Marcus said simply. "It's what humans do. We adapt." The alien ship fired back massive energy beams that lit up space like artificial suns. The Endurance's shields absorbed most of the impact, but the ship shook violently. "Shields down to 60%, Kim reported. "Good," Marcus said. "That means we're close enough." He had studied the HFY ship design for days. Their weapons were powerful but had limited firing angles. If he could get close enough fast enough, he could find their blind spots. Rodriguez evasive maneuvers, pattern Delta 7. The Endurance began moving in an unpredictable spiral, dancing around the larger ship's weapons fire. Every few seconds, the mining lasers would strike out, targeting specific sections of the alien hull. "Their engine section is taking damage," Torres reported. "I'm reading power fluctuations." "Keep hitting them there," Marcus ordered. "Make them understand that bigger doesn't always mean better." On the screen, Captain Vextar was screaming orders in his own language. The confidence was completely gone from his voice now. "You cannot defeat us," he said to Marcus. "We are HFY. We are warriors." Marcus looked at the alien captain with something that might have been pity. "Captain," he said, "you're not warriors. You're bullies. You attack peaceful colonies and steal from scientists. Real warriors fight to protect something." Another volley from the mining lasers struck the blood tide's engine section. This time, explosions bloomed along the alien hull as secondary systems overloaded. "I protect my daughter," Marcus continued. "My crew protects their families. Our colonies protect their children. That's what makes us strong." The blood tide was trying to retreat now, its engines struggling to build speed. But Marcus had anticipated this. The modified mining charges his crew had deployed were invisible against the dark of space until they exploded. "You wanted our technology," Marcus said as the alien ship shuddered from the explosions. "Let me show you what human ingenuity really looks like." The blood tide was burning. Marcus watched from the bridge of the Endurance as flames vented from the alien warship's hull. The massive vessel that had seemed so threatening an hour ago now drifted helplessly in space. Its engines dead and its weapons offline. But it was not over yet. "Sir," said Lieutenant Kim, "they're trying to restart their engines. Power readings are fluctuating in their engineering section." Marcus nodded. He had expected this. The HFY were warriors according to their own culture. They would not surrender easily. "Target their engine core with everything we have," he ordered. "End this." "Commander," said Walsh quietly, "they're trying to send a distress signal." Marcus turned to his first officer. "Block it. I don't want any other HFY ships knowing what happened here until I'm ready." On the main screen, Captain Vextar appeared again. The alien looked different now. His scales had turned a sickly gray color, and his yellow eyes were wide with something Marcus had never expected to see from a HFY. "Terror." "Human," Vextar said, his voice shaking. "We surrender. By the ancient laws of space combat, you must accept our surrender." Marcus studied the alien captain for a long moment. He thought about Sarah lying in the medical center, the blue poison spreading through her body. He thought about the 23 colonists who had been taken as slaves. "Captain Vexitar," Marcus said finally, "where are the people you took from Haven's Rest?" The alien's eyes darted away from the screen. "They are safe in our holding cells. Bring them to the airlock immediately. All of them. Alive and unharmed, but if we release them, what guarantee do we have that you will honor our surrender?" Marcus smiled. It was the same expression a predator might wear while watching its prey. "None," he said simply. 10 minutes later, the first of the captured colonists came through the airlock. They were dirty and scared but alive. Marcus counted them carefully as they boarded the Endurance. 23, just as Dr. Hart had said. Among them was Dr. James Morrison, A geologist Marcus knew from previous missions to Haven's Rest. The older man was supporting a younger woman who looked barely conscious. "Commander Chen," Dr. Morrison said, relief clear in his voice. "Thank God you found us. They were planning to sell us at some kind of slave market." Marcus felt the cold anger in his chest grow even colder. "Are all of you here? Anyone hurt? We're all accounted for. Maria here has some kind of infection from their medical experiments, but she'll live." Marcus nodded. "Get them to Dr. Chen in the medical bay. Full examinations for everyone." As the colonists were led away, Marcus returned to the bridge. On the main screen, Captain Vextar was waiting. "Your people are returned," the alien said. "Now you must honor our surrender." Marcus looked at the Kethvar captain for a long moment. Behind Vextar, he could see other aliens working frantically at damaged control stations. The bridge of the Blood Tide was filled with smoke and the flashing lights of emergency systems. "Captain," Marcus said, "let me ask you something. If our positions were reversed, what would you do to me?" Vextar's expression became confused. I would take your ship and sell your crew as slaves. That is the way of the strong." "Exactly," Marcus said. "That's the difference between us." He turned to his weapons officer. "Kim, one more shot. Disable their life support systems." "Sir?" Kim looked uncertain. "That will kill everyone on board." "No," Marcus said. "It will give them a choice." The mining laser struck the Blood Tide's life support center with surgical precision. Immediately, warning lights began flashing on the alien bridge. "What have you done?" Vextar screamed. "I've given you exactly what you gave to my daughter," Marcus said calmly. "A slow death. Your life support will fail in approximately 6 hours. That should give you time to think about your choices." The alien captain stared at him in horror. "You cannot leave us to die. It is against your human laws." Marcus leaned forward in his command chair. "Captain, you're in luck. Unlike you, I don't believe in leaving people to die slowly." He activated the ship's communication system to broadcast on all Kethvar frequencies again. "This message is for all Kethvar vessels and command stations," Marcus said, his voice carrying clearly across space. "I am Commander Marcus Chen of the human exploration vessel Endurance. Your ship Blood Tide attacked the peaceful colony of Haven's Rest. They injured my daughter and kidnapped 23 civilians." Marcus paused, looking directly at Captain Vextar. "The Blood Tide is now disabled and drifting. Its crew has approximately 6 hours of life support remaining. Any Kethvar vessel that wishes to rescue them may do so, but only after they meet my conditions." "What conditions?" Vextar asked desperately. Marcus pulled up a holographic display showing star charts of the local sector. "First, all Kethvar ships will immediately withdraw from human space. Second, you will broadcast a message to all alien civilizations stating that human colonies are under our protection. Third, you will provide medical information about the weapons you used on my daughter. And if we refuse," Marcus gestured toward the view screen, where the Blood Tide continued to burn and vent atmosphere, "then you die here. And I broadcast the recording of this battle to every species in the galaxy. They'll see exactly what happens when someone hurts a human's family." For the first time since the battle began, Captain Vextar looked truly defeated. "You would kill 200 beings for the sake of one human female?" Marcus thought about Sarah as a child, showing him drawings of imaginary planets where flowers grew in impossible colors. He thought about her excitement when she got the job on Haven's Rest. He thought about her lying in the medical center with alien poison in her blood. "Captain," Marcus said quietly, "I would kill 2,000. Or 2,000,000. That's what it means to be human." The alien stared at him in silence. We accept your conditions," Vextar said finally. "Excellent," Marcus said. "You have 1 hour to broadcast your withdrawal orders and provide the medical data. Then a rescue ship may approach." He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. They were all staring at him with expressions of awe and perhaps a little fear. "Sir," said Walsh, "do you really think this will stop them from attacking human colonies?" Marcus stood up from his command chair and walked to the main view screen. Outside, the Blood Tide continued to drift, small fires still flickering along its hull. "Commander Walsh," he said, "the Kethvar respect strength above all else. For years, they've seen humans as weak because we prefer peace to war. Today, I've shown them that our preference for peace doesn't mean we can't fight." He turned back to his crew. "More importantly, I've shown them that humans become very dangerous when our families are threatened. Word of this battle will spread. Other alien species will hear about it. They'll think twice before attacking our colonies. Lieutenant Torres looked up from her communication station. Sir, I'm receiving the medical data about their weapons. Also, HFY Command is broadcasting withdrawal orders to all their ships in this sector. Marcus nodded. Good. Transmit the medical data to Haven's Rest immediately. Maybe Dr. Peterson can use it to help Sarah. As the Endurance prepared to leave the Kepler 442 system, Marcus remained on the bridge watching the blood tide grow smaller in the distance. Soon a HFY rescue ship would arrive to save the crew. They would live, but they would remember this day. For the rest of their lives, they would remember that humans could be gentle and kind and peaceful. But they would also remember that humans could be absolutely terrifying when protecting their children. Navigation, Marcus said. Set course for Haven's Rest, maximum speed. Yes, sir. Course laid in. As the Endurance jumped into hyperspace, heading home to Sarah, Marcus allowed himself a small smile. The HFY had learned an important lesson today. So had the rest of the galaxy. Humans were not to be underestimated, especially when their daughters were in danger. 3 months after the battle at Kepler 442, Sarah Chen was finally well enough to walk in the gardens of Haven's Rest colony. The blue marks on her skin had faded to almost nothing, just faint lines that caught the light when she moved in certain ways. Marcus walked beside her, carrying a small piece of metal in his pocket. It was hull plating from the blood tide, twisted and blackened from laser fire. He kept it not as a trophy, but as a reminder. The new flowers are beautiful, Sarah said, stopping to examine a plant with purple petals that seemed to glow in the afternoon light. Dr. Morrison thinks they might have medicinal properties. Marcus smiled. His daughter was the same as always, fascinated by life in all its forms, eager to learn and discover. The HFY had hurt her, but they had not broken her spirit. How are you feeling? He asked. Better every day. Dr. Peterson says the HFY medical data you brought back made all the difference. Without it, she didn't finish the sentence. Marcus nodded. The alien weapon that had nearly killed Sarah was designed to be slow and painful. The HFY used it to torture their enemies, not for quick kills in battle. The medical information from the blood tide had included the antidote, which Dr. Peterson had synthesized and administered just in time. Dad, Sarah said quietly, I heard about what you did, about the battle. Marcus looked at his daughter. She had always been able to read him better than anyone else. I did what I had to do, he said. The news reports are calling you a hero. They say you sent a message to every hostile alien species in the galaxy. Marcus touched the piece of hull plating in his pocket. The only message I wanted to send was to you, that your father would always come for you. Sarah stopped walking and hugged him tightly. I love you, Dad. I love you too, sweetheart. As they continued through the garden, Marcus's communicator chimed. He checked the message and frowned. What is it? Sarah asked. Admiral Rodriguez wants to see me when I get back to Earth. Apparently, my actions have caused quite a stir in the fleet. Sarah looked worried. Are you in trouble? Marcus thought about the 12 alien species that had signed non-aggression pacts with humanity in the past month. He thought about the HFY Empire's official apology and their promise to never again attack human colonies. He thought about the pirates and raiders who had suddenly found other places to hunt. Far from human space, I don't think so, he said. The next week, Marcus stood in Admiral Rodriguez's office on Luna Station, overlooking the blue marble of Earth through the massive windows. The Admiral was a stern woman with gray hair and sharp eyes who had commanded fleets during the worst years of the expansion wars. Commander Chen, she said, do you have any idea what you've done? I defended a human colony from alien attack, Marcus said simply. Admiral Rodriguez activated a holographic display showing the local galactic sector. Red markers showed hostile alien territories, while green markers showed friendly or neutral species. 3 months ago, she said, we had 17 species that were actively hostile to human expansion. Pirates raided our shipping lanes monthly. Our colonies lived in constant fear of attack. She touched a control and most of the red markers changed to yellow or green. Today we have 3 hostile species. Pirate attacks have dropped by 80%. And every alien government in this sector has sent formal communications expressing their desire for peaceful relations with humanity. Marcus studied the display. That's good news, isn't it? It's unprecedented, Admiral Rodriguez said. In one afternoon, you accomplished more for human security than our entire diplomatic corps has achieved in 5 years. She walked to her desk and picked up a data pad. I've been getting reports from across the galaxy. Alien news networks are calling the battle at Kepler 442 the day the humans showed their claws. Military analysts are studying the engagement, trying to understand how an exploration ship defeated a HFY warship. We adapted, Marcus said. It's what humans do. Admiral Rodriguez smiled. Yes, that's exactly what you did. The aliens are fascinated by your tactical innovations, using mining equipment as weapons, employing asteroid debris as projectiles, turning industrial tools into instruments of war. They're calling it human ingenuity under pressure. She handed him the data pad. Command is offering you a promotion to captain and your choice of assignments. We're also authorizing the creation of a new ship class based on your modifications to the Endurance. We're calling them Guardian-class vessels, exploration ships with enhanced defensive and offensive capabilities. Marcus looked at the promotion orders, then at the image of Earth hanging in space beyond the Admiral's window. Permission to speak freely, Admiral. Granted. I didn't do this for glory or promotion. I did it because they hurt my daughter. I would do it again tomorrow if anyone threatened her or any other human child. Admiral Rodriguez nodded slowly. I know, Commander. That's exactly why you're the right person for this promotion. She activated another holographic display, this one showing the Endurance in its current configuration. Hull scarred from battle, weapons arrays still mounted where the mining lasers had been, armor plating welded to every surface. The Endurance has become something of a legend, she said. Alien news broadcasts show images of your ship and call it the Father's Wrath. Some species have started referring to all human vessels as guardian ships, whether they're armed or not. Marcus thought about that. The idea that his actions had changed how the galaxy saw humanity was both humbling and terrifying. What about my crew? He asked. All recommended for promotion and commendation. Commander Walsh has been offered his own ship. Chief Rodriguez is being transferred to the shipyard to oversee construction of the new Guardian-class vessels. And the colonists from Haven's Rest? All recovered fully. Dr. Morrison has written a paper about his experiences that's being studied by xenopsychologists throughout human space. The Kethvar Empire has paid reparations to every person who was kidnapped. Admiral Rodriguez walked back to the window and looked out at Earth. Commander Chen, she said, do you understand what you've really accomplished? For the first time since we left Earth, alien species see humans not as prey but as protectors, not as weak explorers but as dangerous when threatened. Marcus joined her at the window. Somewhere below, in the gardens and cities of Earth, human children played without fear of alien raiders. Admiral, he said, I'm just a father who wanted to protect his daughter. Yes, Admiral Rodriguez said quietly, and that's exactly what makes humans so dangerous. 2 hours later, Marcus was back on the Endurance, preparing for departure to Haven's Rest. His promotion to captain would be official once he returned to the colony. But for now, he was still Commander Chen. His crew was waiting for him on the bridge. They had all decided to stay together, at least for one more mission. After that, some would take new assignments. Others would remain with the Endurance as it was converted to the first official Guardian-class vessel. Captain, said Walsh. He had started using the rank early. Where to? Marcus settled into his command chair and looked at the main screen. The stars waited beyond, full of possibilities and dangers and wonders that humanity was only beginning to discover. Take us home, he said. Sarah's expecting me for dinner. As the Endurance left Luna Station and headed toward the hyperspace jump point, Marcus pulled the piece of hull plating from his pocket and looked at it one more time. The metal was twisted and scarred, but it had not broken, like humans themselves. Like his daughter. Like the bond between a father and child that could cross the galaxy and face any enemy. He put the metal back in his pocket and smiled. The stars were vast and full of unknowns, but one thing was certain now. Humanity was no longer seen as weak, and anyone who threatened human children would learn why that was a very good thing. The Endurance jumped into hyperspace, carrying its crew home to the colony, where it all began, where a father's love had changed the galaxy, where the message had been sent and received by every species among the stars. Humans protect their own, and they never ever give up.